Yeah, yeah. Young Half.
What's up, G37 gang? I'm back here with another video, and this one's gonna be a different video. It's actually not gonna be me working on my car at all. I think I'm gonna give it a break for this video. This is actually gonna be about owning a G37 from day one off the lot. 6 miles to be exact, all the way up until now, about 140,000 miles on it over 7.5 years, and want to go over my running cost and what it takes to just keep this thing running, and maybe it'll help you guys make a choice in buying your first car, or buying your the next G37 or even Z, because they have the same engines and it's about the same maintenance, I want to say. So let's get to it, guys. Okay, so starting with year one, first maintenance item was at 7,500 miles. It was a synthetic oil change. I actually did it myself, royal purple. I got the filter, the oil for 60 bucks. Labor is free, thanks to my talents. After 7,500 miles, it was at 15K. The back tires were actually bald on the inside from I don't know why, but these Infinitis and Zs, they come with a massive amount of camber on the inside, so the look at around 20,000 miles, and the insides will be eaten up and the outsides will be about like 5 or 6 millimeters. I don't know why. I guess it's made for like cornering or whatnot, but if you just drive to work like I do, it's gonna eat up those tires pretty fairly quick. I want to say good tire wear would be like 40,000 miles on the set, but this car you're looking at 15,000, 20,000 at best. So after that, I actually got the rear tires were $300 for the back set, and that's actually with me getting 15% off on a set of Bridgestone tires. So, me being a technician saved me a lot of money, I would say. Wiper blades at 15,000, normal maintenance items. I got a $100 alignment done because I didn't want the tires to wear the same way, which they ended up wearing the same way, but it lasted like an extra 5,000 miles. I say it's worth it. And that's it for year one. So the wiper blades were 30 bucks. I don't know if I said it, but the alignment was 100. The tires were 300, and then the oil change was 60. So year one total costs were $550, and I also got another oil change done at 15,000. So it's going about 7,500 interval. So 2 oil changes 1 year, tires, wiper blades, alignment, $550 first year running costs. All right, on to year two. It's after my 15,000 mile service, which was the last of year one. Year two, I went in at 22,000 miles, in as in not the dealership, but to where I was working at the time, and I think that was looking at a Toyota dealership. Yeah, I was there at that time, and at 22,000 miles, I got my front tires were bald because I just replaced the back ones at 15. 22, I bought new front tires, was 300 also for the front set. Oil change, another $60. It's $360 for that service, and that's the beginning of year two. And then the second half of year two was at 30,000 miles. I got an oil change, 60 bucks, royal purple again, and weirdly enough, at 30,000 miles, front and rear pads were low. So for that front and rear pads, and to be able to resurface the rotors myself, ran me about $350 for a brake service at 30,000 miles. For you guys, front and rear pads, and if you decide to buy rotors instead of turn them, probably run you about almost, if you didn't do it yourself, went to any shop, probably $800 to $1,000 for front and rear. I save a lot of money. Most of it was the cost of the pads, and then they charged me a little bit later to turn my own rotors, which sucks, but you know, I save about $300-400, maybe $500 compared to what anyone else would pay. So yeah, that's year 2. In total for year 2, because where is it? 230,000. Okay. Wow. For year 2, I also had another service after that. Was at 38,000 miles, and I got an oil change, another set of wiper blades, and these wiper blades are $30 every time. I buy the best wiper blades. Oh shit. And that was it. That was the last service. Oil change, wiper blades. That'll be the 3rd service of year 2, and all that together is $860 for year 2. All right, on to year 3, and excuse myself, but it's extremely hot out here today, and my car's not running. It is off right now, and it's steaming, so I'm gonna constantly wipe the sweat off of me. On to year 3, so 45,000 miles would be my next service, and I got an oil change, 60 standard. I've been paying 60 the whole time. 45,000 miles. Guess what happened? Rear tires wore out again. Another $300, and my left front wheel bearing started to make noise, and I had to replace that bad boy for $500. It cost me to replace that, and it was like $375 for the part, and then I had to pay myself labor, because that's how it works at the shop. And that was it for the 45,000 mile service, which was $500 for the wheel bearing, $300 for the tires, and $60 for the oil change, which comes out to $860 for a 45,000 mile service. And my next service would be at 52,000 miles. I got oil change, flush the brake fluid, $60 my cost. Your guys' cost probably about 100, 120. Differential fluids. I have a front diff, rear diff, and a transfer case. That cost me $100. Your guys' cost about $200-300. And on top of that, I got front tires because they wore out, $300 for that. Man, that is a lot of money. But to top it off, another set of $30 wiper blades for year 3. $1,410 is the total cost for ownership. Year 3, $1,410. Probably by far the worst year I had, but I mean, come on, man, $1,000 to keep this thing running, that shouldn't be a problem. Compared to other cars, BMWs, Mercedes, these things are pretty low maintenance. Definitely not for the teenager to own, but definitely if you got a decent job and you can afford, small maintenance, you'd be all right. I say it's good. All right, running down the list, year 4, I had a service at 60,000 miles, which included oil change, $60, dry belt, $100. Dry belt costs about $100 for anybody to put on at a shop, maybe 120 or so. So I didn't really save much on that one. Reason why I changed it because I was getting some belt squeal. Fast forward to today, it wasn't just belt squeal, it was the tensioner weakening, and I couldn't really tell, but it happened because recently my belt came off, and come to find out tensioner was bad. A couple pulleys were having some play in them, but that's to the end, towards the end when I explain that one. But yeah, dry belt was 100, and like I said, last year I had got the tires and a bunch of flushes and stuff, but I didn't get an alignment, and I got another alignment for another $100. So $260 for my first service of year 4. And then next, after that, after the 60,000 mile maintenance, I had a service at 68K, and come to find out, my valve covers were leaking. Not bad, but slightly. But it didn't sit well with me, so I replaced the valve covers. These cars actually don't have inner tube seals for the spark plugs. You gotta buy brand new plastic valve covers for the car, which is sucks. It costs more to replace a valve cover, and you don't just replace the valve cover. If your tube seals are leaking, the actual cover has to be changed. So I went ahead and did both sides, the valve cover, and while that was off, threw spark plugs in there. That cost me about $500. Your guys cost probably about $1,200 to $1,500 if you guys went to a shop. Oil change while the valve covers were off, $60. Wiper blades, another $30. So yeah, that in total cost me about $850 for year 4. Your guys cost probably like $1,800 just not to lie about that, because that service, I definitely saved a lot of money being a technician on that one. All right, year 5. Year 5 is up, because that was the year I did the valve covers and everything. So year 6, we're on to 92,000 miles. It was an oil change, wiper blades, which was $90. Probably the lowest I've spent since like first service. And then the next one would be at 100,000. I got the coolant flush for $100, oil change for $60, and guess what? My rear pads wore out. I don't think they grinded, but since I resurfaced them last time, I figured I replaced them. I put rear pads and rotors on there for $300. Just the back brakes. What's that say? Yeah, and that's it. And that was year 6, $550 to run year 6. It's not bad. That's one of my better years. Less money spent on that, so that's good for me. All right, down to year 7, 110,000 miles. I got an oil change, wiper blades. That's it. My first service of year 7 was just that, $90 service, and that's cool. 118,000 was my next service, which is 8,000 miles after, and the inevitable happened. I think this has something to do with the way I drive and me lowering the car, but I got an oil change, $60, and an engine bracket that connects to the motor mount had snapped on me, which are made of aluminum. I was going over some raised intersection, and I hit my flex pipe really hard, broke that, and what's it called? My engine mount or bracket on the side of the mount had snapped in half, and it was causing a bad vibration. That had cost me $500 to replace, but you guys cost probably about $1,100. They quoted me, but I did it myself, so it didn't cost me too much. And at 118,000, the inevitable rear tires had went out again, and ball tires, $300 more. So yeah, that was a pretty big service. About $860 for my 118K service of year 7. So altogether, year 7, $950, which is not that bad, but hey, it takes money to maintain this thing. And this is year 8. Let me see what I got here. Year 8 looks like 130K was the mileage I went in for service. Oil change, 60. Differential plus 100. Another set of wiper blades, 30. Front tires, 300 for that set. And that's the first service of the year, my 8th year, which is this current year. That goes up to 190, 490 for that first half service. And I don't know if you guys watched my last video, but my drive belt had broke. It came off, and what happened was the tensioner was loose and a few pulleys. So I went in for oil change also. So oil change 60, drive belt and pulleys all together, 400 bucks. And I had a top leak on the radiator, which was $700 for radiator alone. I paid $700 to fix it all together. That's because I didn't get charged any labor at all. But the stock radiator for Infiniti G37 is $700 bucks, which is pretty hefty. So if you were to get that done at a shop, it would be like a $1,200 job. So year 8 in total was $1,650, $1,650. So total cost of ownership, and this is like pretty to the T, but I want to say a rough estimate, was $7,540, $7,540 for 8 years of ownership from day one, which is not that bad.
So my GoPro died, and this is the end of the video. The running costs are, a Ford G37 has been driven hard, and I don't drive like Grandpa. You can see in my other videos that I rev this thing real high, I drive it hard, and get about 15,000 a year on it, so that's a lot of miles. So this is like extensive cost for a hard daily driven G37, and from day one, this is what you guys will be looking at as far as like a rough estimate for maintenance. Currently what the car needs, after all that stuff has been done, the power steering pump has started to leak from where the pulley seal's at, so you just replace the whole pump. That'll probably run you about $500. You guys cost $700, so maybe $1,000 depending on what place you get it from. My 2 front axles, this is for you all-wheel drive guys. The boots have torn, and when the boots tear, just when it dries out, you know, the axles can seize up. That'd probably take a while, but those are pretty costly, probably about $300 a piece. Like $700 just for parts, probably like $1,000 to put in one, but I'll just buy the part and put it in myself. But for you guys, you know, it gets costly, so we're looking at probably $1,000 for that repair also. But other than that, honest to God, you guys look at my videos that I recently put up, there's no leaks on the car besides that little power steering leak, but yeah, the car's in pretty good shape. I would say that this car's pretty reliable, and maintenance isn't maintenance free, but it's pretty cheap compared to you know, these turbocharged German cars and stuff. So yeah, I should get one. It's a nice car if you like NA cars and you don't want any forced induction, unless you got like 10 grand, because any forced induction kit on the G37 or Z is gonna be 10 grand for a reliable kit, you know. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys like this video, or it helped you guys make a decision, or you want a video maybe to explain something else that give you clarification before you buy one of these. But it's definitely a nice buy. Even the 35s, I say the G35, it's got the same amount of maintenance. I mean, there isn't really a big difference besides the extra 100 horsepower or so. But as far as reliability, about the same, I would say. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Stay homes. Yeah.
Run that back turbo.
Choppers on deck. Everything is on demand. You wanna check? First you gotta have a plan. And she